Welcome back to Darshan Dev. I'm Darshan and this is our second video in the Getting Started with Django series. In this video, we are going to have a look at views, URLs and Django templates. In the last video, we made our item model for our Django shopping list project and shopping list app. And the thing that is to be noted here is that in the last video, I had made a serious mistake by naming this shopping list app simply list, and it should not be list because list is a keyword in Python. List basically means an array. In many other languages it's called array. So list is not to be used, it's a keyword. So make sure you name it something else. I've named it shopping list, okay? And now here we are going to work with views.py, and we are also going to make templates here, and we will also use this urls.py to make our routes. So let's get started. So let's open our localhost. Yeah, and we had seen this rocket, remember? So here we start with our views. So our views can be either classes or functions, and as we are just starting out, we'll start with functions. So functions are, these functions return an HTTP response. So first of all, we'll create something like a home view, okay? So we define a home view, and these functions take in request. So that is just a default for each and every view that you make, because the request is a must to come in. So you take in a request and you return something. So the functions, the view functions return HTTP responses, or they render templates. So just to show you how this works, we'll import HTTP response from Django.shortcuts, and I'll return an HTTP response from this home view. And our HTTP response would be, hey there, Python is stuck. Just save it, and then you have to link it to an URL. So from where will you access this view? From a URL. URLs are uniform resource locators, which are basically addresses of anything on the web or on your computer. So whenever you open something from your computer or from somewhere else on the web, you have an address in the address bar, and that's your URL, okay? It can be anything. It can even be on your computer. So we go here and create a URL for our view. So to create a URL for our view, we need to import our view in here. So to do that, we do from shopping list, which is this folder, shopping list.views, okay? From shopping list.views, import home view. And we save this, and after importing the home view, what we do here is create a path, just like this admin path, okay? So when you open /admin, you go to the admin side. So this is your URL, localhost /admin. So now this admin slash, and remember in Django you don't have leading slashes, you have trailing slashes, which means that it's never going to be /admin, it's going to be admin slash. You never start with a slash in Django. And here's the path, and for home view you can do as home slash, and it's always forward slashes. And yeah, this is a great thing about Visual Studio Code. It gives you what you need to type. So basically when you create a path, you need a route, a view, and then some keyword arguments if you want, and then a name. A name is a good thing to be given because you can then use it in your view, okay? So this home slash will go to home view, and then it will have a name of home view. We'll just name it the same thing. And it's a list, so remember giving the comma. So now when we go to slash home, it should return our hey Pythonista, that message. Hey there Pythonista, see there. So this is how it works. Now instead of this thing, we are going to return templates. So to return templates, we need to make a templates directory in our apps, in our shopping list app. So just create a folder, templates, and in there you have to make templates. So first we are going to make home.html HTML templates, okay? Then we are just going to add some HTML boilerplate. Our heading will be item list. In the home view we are going to have list, okay? List of items that we get through the database. So just we save it right here. I'll just add a few words like item list or something. We save it, and then I'll show you how to render it. To render it, what you do is return a render. The first argument is request, then the name of our template, that is home.html. Just save it, and later, now if we go to slash home, it should return our template. See, this is our item list. And if we make a few changes, like we just add a h2 around it, this should be rendered here, and it does. So it works here. Now what we do is we pull our item list from our database and show it on the home.html. So to pull it from the database, what we need to do is just import our model here. It's quite simple from here. From .models, import item. Item is our model's name. And then what we do is we define a list, item list equals item, which is our model name, dot objects dot get, not dot get, dot all, because we need all of them. We don't want to filter any of them, or we don't want to do anything. We just want every item that we ever created. So our item list is item.objects.all. This will return a list of items, and then we can pass this list of items into our home.html template. To do that, we use context, which I had mentioned before. So context is a dictionary or an object if you are from JavaScript or any other language. Dictionaries, objects, lists, arrays, okay? So here we pass in the item list, and to show you which variable is passed into the template, I'll just capitalize the variable which is passed into the template, okay? Item list, this should be in quotes, okay? Item list colon item list. So we are passing this item list variable, which we have assigned to item.objects.all, into this capitalized item list, which will be used in our template. So we are going to learn a bit of basic templating syntax here. So for this thing, we are going to use an h3, okay, and we are going to use double curly braces. Inside double curly braces, if you pass any variable which is coming from the context here, we forgot to put the third variable, which is third argument, which is context. When we put context here, it's given to the home.html, okay? We save it here, and now we have access to context here. So if we pass in the capitalized item list variable, this here, then an item list will be rendered in an h3 tag on the home.html. So we save it, and then we refresh it. We can now expect to see an item list. Oh, there is an error. Oh, objects typo. no problem at all. We can just now save it. Our server reloaded. Let's go there, refresh it, and now we'll see our item list. But what has it returned? It has returned a query set. A query set is just like a list which is stored in a database, but right now we need to see something which is much more better than this, like item object 1, item object 2. We don't want to see this. We want to see the name of the item, the quantity of the item. So what we do is we make a few changes to the model, not changes but additions. So we define a dunder stir method. It's called dunder stir because double underscore str double underscore, which takes in self and it returns, I'll return an f string here, f strings of this thing and this thing. So we'll have our name and we'll have quantity equals self dot quantity, and it should be not name, it should be self dot name. We save it and this will return our item's name and a space, then qty quantity equals our item's quantity. Okay, now this should change. This representation of items is now changed when I refresh it. See this, item keyboard quantity 100, item mouse quantity 500, TV quantity 700, that way. Now this is better. We can make it even better. Now we just don't want this query set to be here and any of these tags to be there. We just want the data from this query set. So what we do is we create a bit of logic in our home.html. So to create logic in our Django templates, we use these tags. So curly braces and percentage signs. These are for creating logic, and the logic is written in Python. So for you can write it this way: for item in item list. Here the indentation does not matter, so you don't need to care about it. For item in item list, it means that for every item in item list, not item list, item. So for every item in item list, show the item. These double braces mean show, and these brace and percentage signs mean that it is the logic, so that won't be shown. And one thing different from Python here is that when you start a for loop, you have to end it. So what you do is you put end for. That's it. You save it, and then you're going to see some magic. This is how it works. So we are ready with our list view, which is our home view. So whenever we go to /home, it will give you this list of items. Now the next thing is just a normal progressive step in our journey. That will be our detail view. So whenever you go to an e-commerce site, what happens? You get a list of items. Then what happens if you click on one item? It takes you the detail page of that item. So basically all the other items are excluded from it, and just one item is taken. All of its details are shown. So that's the detail view. We don't have many attributes of items here, but basically if we go to our keyboard page, then we should only be shown keyboard, not this item list and other items. So we are going to create that view right now. But before that, you need to understand something, that address bar is not just a place for addresses of resources. Like, it's not just a place for normal static URLs. URLs can have variables, and those are known as path variables. So basically this is your path, and it can have variables like home/1, home/2, home/3 for these items. So those are known as path variables. And like if you go to this slash detail slash the item number, then it should give you like keyboard, and the second one should give you mouse, and the third one should give you so on and so forth. So for that to happen, you need to pass in variables through this slash, through this address bar. So the next view we are going to create is detail view. So we define detail view, and in the same form we take in request. But what do we do next? How do we know that which item to take in query from the database? We need to pass in a variable, a path variable, and that path variable is going to come from urls.py. So go to your urls.py, create a path, and this path will be detail slash, and here we pass in a path variable. So path variables go in angular brackets, and since we want this path variable to correspond to these items, we put an integer which corresponds to their ID. Okay, so this is going to be our detail view, and our detail view will have a name of detail view. And now here we import our detail view which we have defined there. Now our URL configuration is done. So now we have our detail URL with an integer passed into it. Now this integer ID, we can use it in our view, this detail view. So we go to our detail view here, and remember to save this. We go to our detail view here, and we pass in the ID from there. And when we pass in that ID, we mean to get this ID from here, because we have defined a variable, a path variable with the name of ID. So we can use it here. So we get that ID from the URL, and then we perform a query to the database. That is item.objects.get. Here we use get, and .get means that we can specify a parameter like a name or a quantity, but a name and quantity are not unique. Okay, name and quantity are not unique. So what is unique? When you go to this migrations and 0001 initial.py, you will see that along with name and quantity, and these are this migrations of shopping list, okay, along with name and quantity, you have an auto field created automatically for you, that is ID. So what you do here is, in the views.py, you put ID equals ID. So the blue ID, the first one, refers to the ID which is defined on this model, which is defined automatically over here by Django. So each and every item which you create has a unique ID, and you don't need to even think about it, it's automatically created. So here in views.py, this ID on the item should equal the ID which we passed in. This yellow ID is the ID which we passed in. So this item.objects.get function will find out an item which has the same ID and store it in this item variable, and then you can pass this item into the context and render it just like we did here. And generally you will see that the context variable name and the actual name, both of those, generally they are the same. So what you do here is context is item, that's what I meant. So it does not matter that, you don't have to think about specific unique names for your context variables. You can use just the same names, and that's what you will see most of the times in other people's codes. I've not created detail.html yet, but we will create it soon. So this is the same structure copied from here to here. Return, render, request, detail.html context, and context. In the context we have item here, item here. So if we create a detail.html beside this home.html, we should be able to use this over here. So we create a basic HTML template, and then we call it item detail. And then what we do here is we create an h2 tag, and let's render our item. So in double curly braces, type in item, which is your context variable. From here you just type it, you save it, and after it's been saved, we go to our browser, and then we go to our detail. But it says that detail is page not found, because the first one is admin slash, second one is home slash, the third one is detail slash some integer. So whenever you go to detail, you have to give an integer. We give 1, we get keyboard. Oh, it works. We give 2, it should give you mouse. We give just a second, we give 3, and it should give you TV. 4, phone. 5, speakers. 6, PS5. Do we have a 7? Maybe not. Yeah. This is what I waited for. So item matching query does not exist. What if it does not exist? It should not show this page to a normal user. So what we do here is a basic form of a simple user handling thing. So we implement our try except block here. We do try if this is there, and except item dot does not exist. This is if the item does not exist. Except item dot does not exist. Then we return an HTTP. We do not return, we raise an HTTP 404 error. That is if something is not found, but we need to import it, right? So we import it over here from Django.shortcuts, import HTTP 404, and raise HTTP 404. We can give our own message here, like, oh, this product does not exist. Okay, so we should see this message if it does not exist. Like if we query the product number 7, it should give you this message. Let us check it out, refresh it, see, page not found. So it gives you a basic 404, and oh, this product does not exist. And you can also see this. You're seeing this error because you have debug equals true in your Django settings file. Change that to false, and Django will display a standard 404 page. So you will see a standard 404 page if you change it to false. But for now, since we are in production, and we are not in production, we are just in development, so we need to see all the errors, their details. So for now, debug should be true. So that's it for this video. In this video, we learned how to make our home view, which is our list view, our detail view, and also we learned how to manage our URL configuration. And inside our URL configuration, in the detail view, we also learned how to pass in our path variables, so that in our views we can get specific items or specific entities from our database, query them. And also finally, for a cherry on the cake, we also did a bit of error handling with try and except blocks. And one more thing we learned to do is defining a string, dunder method on our item model, so that whenever we query our database, it won't return item 1, item 2, item 3. It will return us the name and the quantity of the model. So that's it for this video. And to keep up with the channel, do consider subscribing to this channel, and if you like this video, do like it, do share it with people you think will benefit from this. And if you have any suggestions or any queries or any doubts with this topic or any other topic, please do drop your comments below. That will be very appreciated. Thank you. Stay tuned. Bye bye.